Hello there, I'm Kathy and this is my sister Dawn.
Hello.
Today we would like to show you a nice recipe that we found, and it's to make English muffins. We're going to make them on the stove top, so we don't need to bake them. We're going to use a cast iron pan. Only a couple ingredients, right?
Right. Very easy.
Okay, come over to the counter and we'll show you what's in them.
We need 3 ingredients to get started. We use honey, just 1 teaspoon. Okay, so then you need a half a cup of water, or just warm water. Make sure the water is like lukewarm. So you mix the honey and the water together, and you're supposed to just use 1 package of yeast for this recipe, but when I get the yeast in my grocery delivery, a lot of times they almost freeze it till it gets here. So I just use 2 packs and that works just fine. Alright, so we just mix that up, and then we want it to bloom, so we're just going to let it sit there for 7 minutes and it will grow. And this one is exactly what's going to happen to it. It doesn't have to get that high, but this has been sitting here more than 7 minutes, but that's what happens to your yeast. It just blooms and then it works and mixes better into the dough. Okay, so now we're going to take that yeast mixture that we made that bloomed and pour it into the mixing bowl. Now we want the mixing bowl to have the dough hook on it because we're going to make dough. I'm just going to use 3 tablespoons of softened butter and a cup of warm water. Alright, then we really actually need 3 cups of flour. I use bread flour by King Arthur's. And we're going to use 2 cups right now, and then we're going to save another cup to add in as we mix it more. Okay, so we just want this to be a nice liquid mixture. So we're going to lock it, and we're just going to mix that for a few minutes. Okay, so it's getting nice and mixed in there, liquidy. And we want to now start making a thick dough. So we're going to add that 3rd cup. And then we're going to put it on the 2nd setting, number 2. And we just want it to be in a nice little ball in there. And then once it gets into that little ball, we're going to let it mix for 7 minutes to make the process happen with the gluten. See how the dough is pulling away from the bowl? It's like cleaning it. Now you can see that the dough is a little bit sticky. So that's not going to keep happening. And we're just going to add little bits of flour until it pulls away from the sides completely. And then the total mixing time will be 7 minutes on number 2. Okay, now before I take it out of there, I'm going to just pour a little bit of oil into this bowl, and I'm going to mix it up just to oil the sides. I don't want to have any oil left inside this bowl when we're done. All right. Now I have the dough here. I'm going to pull it out. And I'm going to put it in that oiled bowl, and then I'm going to turn it so that the oil does cover it. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to put a towel or a saran wrap over that, which helps keep the raising process inside the bowl. And then we're going to cover it with a dark towel.
Why do you use a dark towel?
Well, it doesn't let the light in, and the light will destroy what the yeast is doing, so it makes it work better. We want to get the most out of our yeast.
And why do you use the saran wrap instead of just a towel?
Okay, so the saran wrap keeps the gases from the yeast inside. Normally, if you had a towel over it, it would release into the towel. This way, the yeast works back down in the dough. So,
well, you're getting the most use of that yeast, aren't you?
that's right, man. We pay a lot of money for that yeast. We're going to make it work. Okay, so here's my towel. Good night for the yeast. Okay, so what happens... Okay, so we have let the yeast work for 2 hours. We take off the towel and the saran wrap, and here we go. The dough really grew. Alright, so now we're going to decompress it. There we go. And now this is gonna make 5 or 6 English muffins. Alright, so I usually pat it down into either a square or a circle, and then I cut it into those 5 or 6 uniform pieces. Okay, so I am gonna just lightly oil this pan, and then I'm gonna put it under medium heat. Get that spread out.
But you want to get the pan hot before you put the dough in, right?
Right, it has to be hot. So I'll put it on high for a minute just to get it nice and hot. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to cut this piece of dough into 6 pieces. I like it when it's a circle and I can just cut it like a piece of pie.
So if you had a real big frying pan, you could do 4 at a time, right?
Right, yep. The thing is, when it goes in there, it swells up, so you don't want to get too many in there. And you also don't want to steal the heat from, you know, the ones that are in there. So we'll just start with 3. Roll them into a ball. There's a little trick with these little balls.
What is it?
Alright, let me just show you on one that they didn't mess up. Okay, so on this one, you take all the points and you bring them down to the back. All these little edges, bring them into the back. So you have this little mess down here, and then you roll it. So in your hand, this side's going to be nice and perfect. And this side, you know, it's going to just be the bottom. It's got a good chance, but at least you want one side looking beautiful. Okay, so we got one ball. We're going to stick it on a hot heat. And I'm just going to let it sit there for 1 moment, and then we'll squish it down a little. So see how nice that got? Just pull all that.
Yeah, I like that technique.
Yeah, it's really good for like muffins or if you're making hamburger buns. Okay. And then we're going to just squish them down to the height of an average English muffin. Now this goes for 4 minutes. So you need to set your timer for 4 minutes. And periodically throughout, just keep squishing it down till you get the right height of an English muffin.
I don't know. Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. Do you see how the edges of these English muffins are starting to look like an English muffin? They get a squishy, soft look on the edge, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so just 4 more minutes there. But this is a nice look, you know. I'm tapping on these.
What does that sound like to you?
They just sound like they're not done yet.
Okay. All right, we'll be patient.
They sound like a little thick and heavy, so we want that hollow sound.
They look great though. They're coming along great.
If you leave them on a cooling rack, they'll stay nice and crispy. So you'll have a little crispy chew to them, and they'll be chewy inside. If you put them slightly warm into a Ziploc bag, they'll get soft. Hear that? That's what we want. That's the sound. This is not done, and this is done.
Well, that's a good way to compare.
Yeah. So, put that one back over.
So the big one needs a little more time. The other one we can...
Oh, you can just hear this when you turn it. You can just feel like how hollow it is inside.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. We're going to put it off to cool now?
Yeah.
Those are some good looking English muffins. I can't wait to taste.
I can't wait till you taste. Alright, let's show you what it looks like. We cut it apart. You can prick it with the fork to get it. And you got all those nooks and crannies in there.
Oh, how nice. It's still warm and
Steaming, man.
steamy.
Put a little butter on there for you, Kat.
Oh, there's nothing like
Would
this.
you like a little honey on there?
No, just the butter.
Alrighty. Well, there you go.
Oh, that looks delicious.
We got that nice brown on the bottom. This is just the perfect English muffin.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's nice. You gotta try this recipe. Oh, hey, thanks for watching our video. I hope you get a chance to make this recipe.